Okay, this is my CoreXY gone mad. I don't know whether it'll show up. Basically, this is taller than a typical dining room table. That bucket there is a 15-litre bucket. Yeah. So it's a big unit. Just trying to give you a size comparison. It's pretty big anyway. So what I've done is, I originally made this external frame to then hold what was the workings of my CoreXY. That's what these innards are here, but I have decided to actually go one better than this, and this is why this CoreXY, which I had started building, I kind of like its design, but yeah, there's things I don't like about it, things that aren't working quite right. So what I've got is the motion for this CoreXY here sitting underneath my new XY stage. Now that basically means the two, luckily enough I'm pretty accurate with the welding here, and so the frame is accurate enough to just use the steel section here. Now, I don't know how well that shows up, but I'm operating it from this end, and the bearings are working well enough to produce focus. The bearings are working well enough that I can grab from this end, moving it around. There's quite an extension, and it's behaving itself beautifully. I can't get over how nice this bearing arrangement works. A bit of a close-up of it. Now what I've got, does the camera even show it? Focus. You can see I've got the double V-slot rollers, but I'm actually using them inside out on the corner of this steel tubing. So yeah, it's providing a really good track. I'm quite impressed with how that worked. And I just randomly thought of it because I wasn't going to be doing it this way, but it seems to be quite attractive in the way it's operating. And this rail, which is 1100 millimeters long, that bearing block, and the printhead assembly here, it weighs 1300 grams, the whole assembly, which is far lighter than the typical print bed of any reasonable size like i3 design. So I'm pretty happy with the weight. So it's definitely going to be less work to move this whole gantry than it is for even like little i3 to run like either a glass bed or that kind of thing. So I'm thinking I'm probably going to get very good performance even using this as just a Cartesian rig. So I'm actually just going to step back a little bit and make this a Cartesian rig. What I've built in this block here is an ability to hold a 2-in 1-out hot end, so I can use different materials. So for argument's sake, using a filler of say PVA as a support material, and PETG for the real print or whatever. And both the it's kind of like a short distance Bowden. It's going to be like 2 inches of Bowden tube. I'm going to have 2 motors mounted here using the TiVo. Well, they're like I think TiVo Tornado? Don't know. Anyhow, they use a very small, half-sized sort of stepper motor with a reduction gear. So I'm expecting to have a fairly light weight, even on the x-axis, even though I'm going to have direct feeding right here. And the advantage of that is also I could print things like TPU, something really flexible, and expect reasonable performance. I haven't got that piece in my hand right now, but yeah, that's what my intention is. If I do just run this as a Cartesian, which is my intention at the moment, rather than going CoreXY, that allows me mentally to just focus on the Z axis. I'm going to be making this print bed is 500mm square. I've decided, because of this, the way I've changed this kinematics, I get 590mm in the x-axis, I get 640 in the y-axis, and the Z should give me nearly 800mm. So it's going to be a reasonably sized printer bigger than I planned. I had hoped for a 400mm cube, and now I'm getting, what is that? Well, half again in each direction, so you know, that's at least, brain's not working, 2¼ Oh yes, that's getting close to 4 times the volume. Yeah, about 4 times the print volume of a 400mm cube. So yeah, that's quite a big change for what this is going to be. Now, I know it's confusing because I've got this earlier CoreXY attempt here. I'm not sure whether I'll be using 32-bit or whether I'll go, I think I might even just stick with 8-bit, just to keep my work to a minimum for this stage, because I can always beef it up. As you can see, it's a very open architecture type arrangement. I can change anything I like. Anyhow, I think that's about it. Yeah, I've got, I have the heating for the bed. I'm using those very large silicon mats. I'll probably get a bigger one. I'll probably end up with a 600mm square mat. At the moment I've got a couple of 400mm square, but I'm thinking I'll just run that directly off the mains, because you can get them at 240 volts. And I have a separate temperature controller. Anyhow, I guess that's it. Feel free to like, share, subscribe, ask a question, leave a comment. Bye for now.